One final bow for aviation royalty. The very last 747 rolled off the assembly line last week. The jet has ruled the commercial airways since it debuted in 1969. The 747 once carried the space shuttle and is credited with air travel more accessible to the general public. As it takes off into the sunset, Kris Van Cleave has more on the plane and the people who have spent generations building it.
An event fit for the Queen of the Skies. After more than 5 decades, this is the last brand new 747 that will ever be built.
As a pilot, I know how great this plane is to fly.
Among those paying tribute, actor John Travolta.
There's nothing like seeing a 747 take flight to remind you that there's also magic here.
We visited Boeing's Everett, Washington plant as the plane was in final assembly, just days before it rolled off the line, made its first test flight, and was bathed in about 120 gallons of paint.
Every time you finish a job, you know that it's going to be the last time you do it, and it just kind of tugs at your heartstrings.
Sherry Mui built 747s for the last 15 years. Her father started working on the same line 43 years ago.
My favorite thing about the 747 would just be that it's so iconic that you see it in the sky, you see it at the airport, you know exactly what that is. And it brings a lot of pride knowing that, hey, yes, I helped build that.
It's not just another airplane.
It's not just another airplane.
The 747 was the world's first jumbo jet, twice as big as any other airliner when it first flew back in 1969.
Pan Am will bring you the world's first 747.
Pan Am welcomed the first passengers on board a year later. With its spiral staircase, first-class lounge, and that iconic hump, the 747 was an instant hit.
This airplane marks the point in history, first time that any person on planet Earth could get on an airplane and fly.
It democratized air travel.
Absolutely. Because of its size, its range, its economy, now flight was affordable.
Over more than 118 million flight hours and counting, its 4 engines have carried millions of passengers, 6 U.S. presidents, and even the space shuttle across the country and around the world.
After building 1,574 747s, this marks the end of the line for the Queen of the Skies. But for the thousands of people here in Everett who work on the airplane, it really marks the beginning of a new chapter. They are all going on to new jobs on other lines, building new airplanes that'll be flying for decades to come.
While those newer, more fuel-efficient planes are bringing about the end of this Queen's reign, especially as a passenger plane, the final 747, a freighter, will likely be delivering goods for years to come. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Kris Van Cleave in Everett, Washington.
And taking over for the 747 is the 777X, which is just about the same size.
Is it?
Actually, but just more fuel efficient and a better plane.
Yeah, you know, the 747 was just such part of my childhood. Seeing those big girls in flight and being on them was just thrilling.
Seeing some of those old shots just made me think of some of those really old school things. And the thing we always say, like when people used to dress up to go and fly and all of that.
Sort of the wonder
so
days
special.
of flying.
Yeah.